Alright, so in today's Allen's keynote session, let us take up the remedy Cicuta. Yesterday we have discussed two remedies, which was agaricus and cannabis indica. An extension of the similar mental complaints is also found in Cicuta, or Cicuta is more predisposed to act like those remedies on the nervous system with neurological complaints which are predominant. So glad to see you, Jasnish02, and it's just Shiksha to see you in the Instagram live. This is Alan's Keynotes study streak for whatever number of days it is going on since 11th of June. Every day, one or two remedies, or sometimes five remedies, depending upon how they act on the human body. What are the symptoms, if they are correlated, how I see in my practice, and apart from Allen's keynotes, some additional notes on each remedy which will give you more teeth to practice in your clinical practice. So we also have Dr. Vishal Shavant and Dr. Arti. So the first line in Allen's keynotes for Cicuta says that there is when there is a mental general mention, and it is mentioned when reading the letters seem to turn or go up and down or disappear, which is also the case with cocculus, the other remedy mentioned in the brackets. So this will happen only in deeper neurological cases. In superficial neurological cases, you will find that they are mostly absent minded, forgetful, they will behave weirdly, etc. etc. To reach to this level where the letters and the reading text goes blur and up and down will require your focus and the eye coordination to be hampered, which is what happens in deeper states of neurological state complaints. Next, you have something which you have always read in the major polycrest remedies, and that is abnormal appetite for chalk and indigestible things. For coal or charcoal, child eats them with apparent relish. So we know that this is present in one of our top remedies. One of the remedy mentioned is sorinum. The second remedy mentioned is alumina. You also have the remedies calcarea, phos, and other major polycrest remedies which have abnormal craving. This suggests that there is some deficiency in the body at the nutritional level, which can be, if fulfilled, if it is fulfilled, then it will help in recovering and balancing the state of abnormal appetite. So we have few attendees in YouTube and also on Instagram, Dr. Bhavnish, Dr. Muhammad Shibli, and the bios. So glad to see you, and it is Allen's keynote study streak. The remedy we are discussing is Cicuta from Allen's keynotes. Next, you have in Allen's keynotes the symptom which is mentioned for dentition. During dentition, grinding of teeth or gums, compression of the jaws as in a lockjaw. So we have seen that very few remedies have specific action on jaw or lower jaw or the bones of the face. Hecla lava is one of them. You see that capsicum is one of them. Capsicum also acts on the lower jaw, especially the mandibular bone. But it acts on the bone rather than that. Cicuta acts on the nervous component of the nerves that supply the bones, which is why what you see here that there is lockjaw. If lockjaw, if you understand from the tetanus point of view, from the neurological point of view, you will understand that it is more of a muscular spasm due to a neurological base, and this is what Cicuta acts on. It is suited to women who have epileptic and choric convulsions, spasms of teething children, or from worms. So many of our books do mention that these are the remedies you can give in worms, these are the conditions you can think of in worms, but patients will never present to you in in a way where they will tell you that I am having worms and I am having these complaints. We'll have to pick it up from the complaints and locate or trace the probable cause to worms, which is why if a child has spasms, epilepsy, or any other neurological disturbance, the cause of which is not found, and we know that there is nothing else remaining except worms, which can be suspected depending on the itching of the anal region, or it can be abnormal appetite. So you can think of Cicuta and prescribe. There is also very beautiful indication of Cicuta in cases of neurocystic fibrosis, where I had given to one of the child Cicuta and he improved so well that there was no looking back with Cicuta 1M, 10M, 50M, and CM. So you should know when to prescribe, how to prescribe these remedies. Otherwise, you will just be prescribing your routine remedies, and throughout your life you will be stuck on 20, 30 remedies. You will never go out of it. So Cicuta will be indicated in such cases where it is abnormal appetite, spasms of children who are in the growing age, who have dentition, and they have no other cause of epilepsy rather than worms, which is probably shown out by very few symptoms. There will be few symptoms, which is what the next few lines mention: convulsions with violent, frightful distortion of the limbs and the whole body, loss of consciousness or opisthotonus renewed from slightest touch, noise, or jar. So, someone who is making weird faces or weird actions of the body, that should indicate Cicuta for you. Puerperal convulsions, frequent suspension of the breathing for a few moments as if dead, upper part of the body most affected, and they continue after delivery. So all these women who have been given lot of drugs during their delivery period to make an effective delivery, or to help in other changes that are required at that time, if they develop convulsions, the first remedy that you should think of is Cicuta. It is very rare that you will get to intervene with homeopathic medicines in the gynecological labor department, but if it is some close relative or someone who trusts homeopathy, and the gynec and the pediatric doctor was on the standby, they know that you are trustworthy, then they will employ you. Otherwise, these symptoms you will just be reading them for life and you will never be able to prescribe. Epilepsy with swelling of the stomach as from violent spasms of the diaphragm, screaming, red or bluish face, locked jaw, loss of consciousness, distortion of the limbs, frequent during the night, recurring first at short and then at long intervals. Suffer violent shocks through the head, stomach, arms, legs, which cause jerking of the parts, and head hot. There is a beautiful diagnosis in the cases of children who have epilepsy. It is called as Jacksonian mark of epilepsy. Many times you will see it in practice, and those cases will require Cicuta or these neurological remedies which we are discussing. Yesterday we discussed about agaricus. Tomorrow we will discuss about hellebore zincum. These remedies will be employed in such cases where there is one-sided complaints and very frightful distortion. So if you understand these words, your job to prescribe Cicuta becomes easy. What are these words? Frightful distortion of the face or the limbs. It is something that is very scary, looks very weird, and you know that this is not something you have seen so far in normal epileptic cases. That is where you should think of prescribing Cicuta. Injurious chronic effects from concussions of the brain and spine, especially spasms, trismus, tetanus from getting splinters into the flesh. The other remedy is hypericum. So we have so many patients who get affected by pins and these rusted nails, etc., etc. If they develop neurological complaints, you should think of Cicuta as one of the remedies. The other remedies also we know are very strongly Lidampal and the other anti-tetanus medicines, that is hypericum, also one of the medicines. Brain disease from suppressed eruption. Now, throughout our homeopathic literature, we will see so many of the instances where suppressed eruptions have caused lot of issues on different parts of the bodies. Try to collect all of them on a single paper, write them down what has happened after suppressed eruptions, and you will probably be able to prescribe if the chronology is established from the case. If the patient tells you that few months ago I had some skin problem, I don't know what happened to it, it was cured, this is what they say always, but now I am having these complaints. Whatever complaints are presented, locate it back to the suppressed screen eruption, and you will be having more remedies to prescribe rather than thinking about only one part of the case which is presented to you. So on the skin, what you will see, if the eruptions are not suppressed, pustules which are running together forming thick yellow scabs. We read very similar presentation in graphitis, in mesothelium, and if you see such presentations, no doubt you should go ahead and prescribe Cicuta, especially if it is on the head and the face, which will make you think of Cicuta. Eczema, there is no itching. One of the only remedies you will see in Fatak repertory and other repertories that are mentioned, that there is eczema but there is no itching, there is no symptom at all, there is just eczema which is present and the patient is bothered with that eczema. He will tell you that it looks so bad, it looks so worse. Not a single patient will come and tell you that my eczema looks so beautiful. Many patients are being given Natramure by the current homeopaths. Why? Delusion wretched she looks when looking in the mirror. This is what they pick up and they prescribe. Sometimes they prescribe Heparsulf. Why? Fear of being disfigured, only remedy Heparsulf. But you forget these remedies which are Mesothelium, which is graphitis, which is Cicuta. Cicuta is one of the top remedies and the only remedies mentioned in eczema with no itching. You have to understand it. You have to ignore the feelings of the patient and look at the physical symptoms. Then you will be able to understand when to prescribe Cicuta and these other smaller remedies. Otherwise, you will always catch the words of the patient. You will get lost in the mental symptoms of the patient and you will be forever searching for symptoms in the ocean of mental symptoms and you will never succeed. Sometimes it is worthy to make note of physical symptoms, PQR symptoms, and physical generals. This will lead you to prescribe the medicine than the mental generals, which will probably be only one small speck in the entire ocean. So, what you have in Cicuta is eczema, no itching, exudation forms into a thick lemon colored crust. There is aggravation from tobacco smoke. Like the remedy Ignatia, in Cicuta also you have the same aggravation from touch. Now we come to the last part, which is relations. Hydrocyanic acid, hypericum, nux vomica and strychnina. So there are remedies which have action on the nerves. The nervous components of these remedies are more suitable to act like Cicuta, or if you find these remedies are more prominently seen in your repertory graph, in your analysis, think or give a thought to Cicuta. Your life will become much easier if you get a chance to prescribe these remedies. So that brings us to the end of today's session, keeping it short for 15 minutes only. Only remedy we covered is Cicuta. Tomorrow we'll cover Helleborus and Zincum, two bigger remedies and deeper remedies which will probably impact a lot of your deeper cases of psychiatric and suppressed eruption cases. So let's make a move, and if anyone has any question related to your practice, repertory, case taking, analysis, potency, reputation, please feel free to drop in the comments and I'll try my best to answer. And if you have any fever related questions, there is a session tonight at 9:30 p.m. which is on fevers. The title is Fever Question Answer, FQA. You can join that session, and whatever questions you feel which are important from the fever point of view, you can ask me and I will answer it best and give you an idea of how you can proceed. And there is an upcoming workshop on fevers which you can attend. The workshop begins on 15th August, which is the fever workshop for homeopathic practitioners. All the details are available in various tabs and various posts on my Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube profiles. You can have a look, and those who wish to join and improve your prescriptions of fever and not get stuck up on only one or two remedies to prescribe in fevers should definitely join this fever workshop.